Good evening, everyone. Guys, didn't today escalate quickly? I mean, honestly, I woke up this morning, I was going to do this video I'm going to do now. I looked at my newsfeed and I was like, wow, okay, the world has, the United Kingdom and the world has literally just gone upside down. I don't know whether it's the heat, I don't know whether it's the summer holidays, I don't know what it was, but the whole world has gone absolutely insane. So guys, I'm going to do the video now that I was going to do this morning. So let me just quickly mention, from today's events in the United Kingdom, in Leeds. If you don't know, there's a region of Leeds. It's predominantly, how do I put this? There's a lot of foreign people there. There was riots overnight. There's been scenes all over the mainstream media of police cars being burnt out, fire on the streets, just absolute chaos in the streets. Now, also, as well, some violence broke out in London this afternoon. I don't know. I don't think it's related, but it kind of will be related in the sense that once people start seeing these things on their social media feeds, and and then other people start to push into this and feed into this narrative, then things escalate. And like I said in this morning's video, guys, this is just the beginning. So what I want to talk about quickly before we go into this video, which is going to be about what we're seeing from the Zelenskyy trip. When I used to work in Baghdad, there was a region of Baghdad called Sada City. It's like, if you want to look on it on a map, it's Baghdad proper, but it's like northeast. Sada City was renowned for just absolute carnage. If you went into Sada City, you'd have a fight on your hands. So predominantly it was only special forces units that would go in there. They'd go in heavy, they'd get in, they'd get out, they wouldn't stay for TM medals, and the rest of the green military would just avoid it, and they kind of just dealt with themselves, and I feel that we're getting like, from the images that I've seen on the TV, it's getting like the UK is becoming this sort of, we're having these little enclaves, I guess, of regions where the police don't go, and when they do go, absolute carnage happens. And I was thinking, imagine if you was like 80 years old and you lived in that area of, that area of Leeds for 80 years. Your dad probably fought in the Second World War, and you remember being 10 when your dad came home, or maybe he didn't come home, and you remember all those good times and all, how everything was, and, that feeling of, Britain can do anything, we've just conquered the greatest power, the Nazi power, we've just conquered. Guys, and I know there's an argument it was the Americans or the Russians, but we're not going to go there. But, you've got this feeling of overwhelming pride to be British. Now, can you imagine if that 80-year-old person now, he's looking out of his window, scared to go out onto the streets, because when you see the police run away, from a mob, now it doesn't matter what that mob is, you just feel helpless. And I can only imagine that there's a lot of people right now, a lot of good, decent people in Leeds who are just watching this whole thing, unfold and escalate, and are just feeling absolutely helpless. And guys, it's absolutely terrifying. We really are moving, moving one step closer. So, it's absolutely terrible what's happening. I personally think there's going to be, there'll be further escalations. The weather, it's a Friday, people are in the pub, people are getting angry, people are talking, and, I think things will escalate. But who knows? If the police go in there heavy-handed, then there's going to be escalations. But the problem is, to deal and crack down with these gangs, you need to go in heavy-handed. You can't go in light-handed. They don't respect you. They won't listen to you. They don't have fear of you. And they do, guys, and when you're dealing with this sort of, these gangs, because that's what they are, you know, when you're dealing with these gangs, that, you know, they do have to have a certain amount of fear, because otherwise they'll just take you on. So unless the police have the stomach to go in heavy-handed and to go in hard on these regions, it's just going to grow. And the more it grows, the more people get emboldened. And I'm just really worried about, you know, those people who live, you know, those people who live in that region of Leeds who are just, you know, absolutely terrified. But guys, you know, the events that I saw unfold on the news, you know, they literally pushed us one step closer to moving to the United States. So I don't even know, guys, you know, maybe Ukraine, maybe, you know, I've got lots of friends in Ukraine. That might be a good, you know, a good place to go. But anyway, guys, so what I wanted to do is I want to talk about the Zelenskyy trip, what to expect, the key takeaways and the key wording that's being used. And, you know, the reason I'm mentioning this key wording, you know, is because it's the reason I can tell what's going to happen in, you know, in months' time, because the wording that they use is very key. And people just gloss over the wording and they think some words are synonymous, and they're not. So, yeah, this was the first time a foreign leader has done this sort of address in the United Kingdom since 1997. So yeah, so it's a big thing. But you know, I was laughing because this is the fourth since the war in Ukraine. This is the fourth. This is the fourth prime minister that Zelensky's had to deal with. So you know, poor Zelenskyy having to come here every 2 minutes because we've got a new prime minister. So we had Boris, Liz, Rishi, and now we've got you know, and now we've got Kia. And I think we're going to have Kia unless, you know, for a good for a while. So let's quickly share this with you guys. Where are we? Is it this one? No, that's the next one. So here we are, guys. So where are we? Zelenskyy to deliver historic address to the UK government. I'll put this link in the description, guys. Let me get down to it where the interesting bit is. Yes, it's 1997. We've told that. Zelenskyy defense production for the Prime Minister's office. Here we are, guys. So the two leaders are also expected to sign defense export security treaty. The meeting follows London's announcement of new sanctions targeting Russia's shadow fleet vessels used to circumvent Western sanctions and continue trading Russian oil. Guys, I was talking about these, you know, these dark fleets months ago. Nobody was talking about them. It was just like, oh, nobody cares. Why is this important? Guys, the main elephant in the room here is the amount of oil that's just been found off the coast of the Falklands. It's huge down there. That's going to be the next area. And, you know, the Ukrainians have had a really good success rate with their underwater drones, with their underwater systems that can take out the Russian fleets. So I think this is like the weeds and the seeds starting to grow for the for a conflict in the South Atlantic, guys. And I know it's insane, and I know that nothing on there says that, but I'm just reading into this. Why are they mentioning the shadow fleet? It makes no sense. So it's out of context. It shouldn't be there. So I'm thinking, okay, why have they mentioned that? Why are they mentioning that now? And that's what I'm thinking, guys. That's why my head's going like that. Zelenskyy arrived in the UK on the 18th. He met with somebody, Ukraine's former commander-in-chief, the new ambassador, and King Charles. So that's what's happening with Zelenskyy, guys. Now, I just want to look at some of these pictures. So this is from, what's this from? Daily Mail. So we've got a little video. We're not going to go with that. Look at that picture there, guys. Look at that face. What do you see when you look at that face? I mean, look at Zelenskyy. He's like, thanks, mate. You've got number 10. You've got the Treasury sign there. You've got, wow, what have I just bought? You know, people call him, guys, people call him a used car salesman. Guys, I don't want to be overly critical of the government, you know, people call him a used car salesman. I actually think he's the manager of a used car sales lot. and he's only the manager because he's been there the longest and he can't find another job, but he's that boring, nobody can sack him because he's not really done anything wrong. So they're the vibes I get from him. And look at Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy has just sold him hook, line, and sinker. Look at that. It's, you know, picture paints 1,000 words. Then you've got Cuddle. I mean, what's that face? He's our defense minister. What's he doing? He looks like, what's that guy? I don't want to mention his name. He's on adult movies. And then you've got the Storm Shadow missile. So the reason for all this, guys, is the Ukrainians need to stop these. No, it doesn't say that. The Ukrainians need to stop these glide munitions that are coming in from the Russian side. The West does not have an answer to it. You know, imagine a 3-ton block of dense material with a pair of wings, and it's just coming at you at like 120 miles an hour. It's very difficult to stop them. You know, you have to take it out of the sky while it's in the air. Lasers are not going to work. These little, these little things that people try to take out the radio frequency of drones with, that's not going to work. There really isn't any answer to these glide munitions. They're cheap, they're effective, they're relatively fast to produce, and they can be launched from a variety of different vehicles. You know, as long as it flies, it can launch these glide munitions. So that's why I've said, you know, the F-16s entering this conflict is going to be key. Because that's, sorry, I'm waffling, aren't I? I need to stop sharing that screen. Guys, how terribly unprofessional thing. Yeah, so the these glide munitions, there's no answer for them, and the Ukrainians need to be able to push them back. So how do they do that? Well, the aircraft so to launch these glide munitions, you have to be in an airplane, and then the airplane will drop it, and like it says on the tin, it will glide. Now, the introduction of the F-16s, those aircraft that are coming up to release the glide munitions, if the F-16s are in the air, that will push them back because they won't want to be in range of the F-16s. So you've kind of got a little game of chess at the moment. As soon as this happens, the glide munitions will have to go back because they'll be ineffective. So that will give a greater range on the ground for the ground troops. Hopefully the Ukrainian Air Force and the infantry and the army, they can work together and, do coordinated attacks. But who knows, guys? Anyway, it's a Friday. I've kept you too long, guys. I'm going to back to grid. Don't forget to like and share my stuff.